You exhale. The breath doesn't float away. Freezes instantly into ice crystals that fall like snow around your face, making a soft crackling sound as they hit the ground. This is Yakutia, Eastern Siberia, 71 degrees below zero. So cold that metal shatters like glass. So cold that trees explode when their sap freezes and expands. So cold that an unprotected human dies in 4 minutes. 6,000 years ago, winter lasts 8 months. Darkness covers the land for weeks at a time. But here, in this lethal cold, entire communities flourished. Families grew, children learned, elders reached 70 years of age. For 300 consecutive generations, they didn't just survive, they mastered winter itself. How? Let's spend one complete day with them. Koryak wakes in total darkness, reaches out, touches the wall of the yaranga, the semi-underground dwelling. Frost covers the inside. He exhales, hears the crackling of his own frozen breath falling. First thought, same every morning for 40 years. Is the fire alive? He crawls toward the center, feels warmth, relief. The fire is burning, small but steady. His wife Sardana fed it twice during the night, waking every 3 hours. If the fire dies, the family dies. Temperature inside with fire, -10 degrees. Without fire, -70 in 20 minutes. The fire pit is lined with stones that hold heat. Above, a chimney made of stacked hollow logs draws smoke up and out. Took 6 men 8 days to dig this dwelling into the permafrost. Another 4 days to build the fire system. But once built, it works. Heat stays low, near the floor where people sleep. Cold air rises and escapes. Koryak adds wood, not much, just to pieces. Wood is currency here. A family burns 400 kilograms per month. That means cutting, dragging, and splitting 4,800 kilograms per winter. Every piece counts. Fire burning stronger now. Time for water. Sardana takes a leather bag from the corner, frozen solid. Inside, chunks of ice she collected yesterday. Not river ice. River ice has sediment that makes people sick. Only snow ice, compressed and clean. She places a large stone pot directly over the flames. Soapstone carved from a quarry 8 days walk from here. Drops ice chunks inside. Waits. The ice doesn't melt quickly at these temperatures, even over fire. Takes 40 minutes to get 2 liters of water. While waiting, she sorts through the ice chunks carefully. Some have dirt, some have debris. She discards these. Clean water is survival. Contaminated water means illness. An illness in winter means death. No second chances. A family of 6 needs 10 liters per day. 5 for drinking, 5 for cooking. That means melting 15 kilograms of ice daily. Sardana will make 4 trips to the fire today, heating water in batches. 3 hours of her day dedicated to this single task. Water ready. Koryak eats. Reaches up, pulls down a strip of dried reindeer meat hanging from the ceiling. 30 strips hang there, dark and hard. This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 2 weeks. He bites the meat is frozen solid, harder than leather. He holds it in his mouth, lets saliva and body heat soften it slowly. Takes 8 minutes of chewing before he can swallow the first bite. His jaw muscles are powerful from years of this. 1 strip is 300 grams, contains 900 calories, almost pure protein and fat. He needs 3 strips per day to maintain body heat and energy. Sardana needs 2. The 3 children share 3. The grandmother needs 1. 10 strips total per day for the family. 300 strips per month. 2,400 strips for the winter. Last autumn, the community killed 42 reindeer, processed every part. Meat dried on racks in the wind for 9 weeks. Not 1 gram wasted. The math is exact. 42 reindeer feeds 18 families through winter. 1 reindeer less. 1 family struggles. Eating done. Now Koryak must dress. Going outside means layering properly. 1 mistake, 1 gap in clothing. Frostbite in 3 minutes. First layer, soft reindeer skin against his body. Fur turned inward. Thin and light, traps air next to skin. Second layer, thicker reindeer fur. This time fur outward. Blocks wind. Third layer, outer pants and jacket, made from winter-killed reindeer. The densest fur. Each layer separated by a finger's width of airspace. Air is insulation. His boots are masterpieces. 3 layers, inner sock of Arctic hare fur, middle boot of soft caribou leg skin, outer boot of tough reindeer hide. with sealskin soles. Between each layer, dried grass that he replaces every 5 days. Grass absorbs moisture from sweat. Wet feet in this cold means amputation. Mittens have the same design. Inner rabbit fur, outer reindeer, grass insulation between. His hands will stay warm for 6 hours outside. After that, he must return and warm them by the fire. Frostbite doesn't hurt at first. That's the danger. Fingers turn white, then black. He's seen men lose 3 fingers to carelessness. Face protection, a hood with just a small opening for eyes. Even his breath is dangerous outside. The moisture freezes on any exposed skin. Some men wrap soft leather across their faces, breathing through it. The leather catches the ice crystals from their breath. Fully dressed, he weighs 12 kilograms more than naked, but he's ready. Steps outside into darkness. The cold hits like a physical force. Even through all the layers, he feels it. His first breath burns his throat. He breathes shallow, through his nose, warming the air before it reaches his lungs. Deep breathing out here tears lung tissue. He walks 50 paces to check the traps. Movement is slow, deliberate. Rushing makes you sweat. Sweat in this cold is death. The moisture freezes between your layers, turning your clothing into armor of ice that steals your heat. The first trap is empty. Second trap, empty. Third trap, a white fox, frozen solid in the snare. Good. Fox fur is valuable. Trade 5 fox pelts for 1 iron knife with the coastal people. Iron is rare, precious. Most tools here are still stone and bone. He resets the trap, walks back. 20 minutes outside. That's enough. Longer than an hour without moving, and the cold begins to win, even with perfect clothing. He's felt it before. The subtle slowing of thoughts, the creeping desire to sit down and rest. That desire kills. He never indulges it. Back inside, he removes layers carefully, hangs them to dry. Any snow or frost must be brushed off outside before entering. Moisture inside the dwelling creates ice buildup on walls and ceiling. They scrape the walls every 10 days, removing buckets of ice. Sadhana has prepared a hot meal, boiled meat in bone broth. The heat is important, warming the body from inside. Cold food forces your body to spend energy heating it after you eat. Hot food gives energy instead of taking it. The pot contains 2 liters of broth with chunks of reindeer. Also wild onion they dried in autumn. Bitter berries, lichens. The lichens are crucial. Prevent a sickness that makes teeth fall out and wounds not heal. They learned this generations ago. The importance of eating plants, even in winter. Everyone eats from the same pot. Children first, they need to grow. Then adults. Grandmother last, but she gets the fattiest pieces. Old people need fat to maintain warmth. Their bodies don't generate heat as efficiently. This knowledge, knowing who needs what, keeps everyone alive. After eating, Koryak works on tools. His stone knife needs reshaping. He takes a piece of flint, a hammerstone, and carefully chips away. Each strike precise. Stone doesn't forgive mistakes in this cold. It shatters unpredictably when frozen. He works slowly, breathing on the stone to warm it slightly before each strike. One knife takes 4 hours to make properly. He'll use this knife for 6 months. Then it becomes too small and dull. Make a new one. Use the old one for scraping hides. Nothing discarded. That old knife will serve another 2 years in lesser tasks before it's too worn. His son, 9 years old, watches everything. Koryak doesn't explain much. Words are less important than watching. The boy sees the angle of the strike, the force, the selection of which edge to work. Next year he'll begin making his own tools. By 15 he'll be expert. By 20 he'll teach his own son. Sadhana works on clothing, always working on clothing. A full set lasts one person 3 years. Then patches and repairs for 2 more years. Then cut down for children. Then scraps for repairs. A family of 6 needs to complete new sets per year. That's 200 hours of sewing per set. 400 hours per year, every year. She uses sinew thread, stripped from reindeer tendons, and dried, soaks it in her mouth to soften, threads it through a bone needle. Each stitch, small and tight. 1 weak seam, 1 gap, and cold air penetrates. She's been sewing since she was 6. Her hands know the work without thinking. The 3 children play quietly in the corner, not running, not shouting. Energy is conserved. They play with carved bone figurines, small reindeer and wolves. The oldest girl teaches the younger ones a counting game using pebbles. Education happens in every moment, woven into survival. Grandmother tells a story about the winter when she was young and the cold was so deep that birds fell frozen from the sky mid-flight. About the hunter who ventured too far and lost his way in a blizzard. How he survived 3 days in a snow shelter he dug with his hands. How he found his way home by following the stars when the storm cleared. Every story is a lesson. How to read weather. How to build emergency shelter. How to find direction. Entertainment and education are the same thing. The children listen, absorbed. These stories will save their lives someday. Afternoon arrives, though the light barely changes. Koryak goes to visit the neighboring dwelling, 30 paces away. The community lives close, 9 dwellings in a cluster, close enough to help each other, far enough that smoke doesn't mix. He brings the fox pelt. Yakut, his neighbor, has surplus dried fish. They trade 3 fox pelts for 8 kilograms of fish. No money, no writing. Just memory and fairness. Yakov remembers that Koryak helped him repair his dwelling last spring. Koryak remembers Yakov shared meat when Koryak's trapline failed in autumn. The accounting is complex but exact, held in minds across years. They discuss the weather. Tomorrow might be clear, good for hunting, or might be wind, better to stay inside. They read signs, the way frost forms on trees, the behavior of ravens, the color of the sky at the horizon. 70% accurate, enough to make decisions. Back in his dwelling, Koryak prepares for evening. The fire needs building up for the night. He adds larger logs, arranges them carefully. The fire must burn steady for 8 hours while the family sleeps. Too hot wastes would too cool and they wake freezing. Or worse, the fire dies. He checks the food stores, counts the meat strips, 63 remaining. That's 6 days at current consumption. After that, he must hunt again or trade. The math is constant, always calculating reserves against time. Sardana melts more ice for evening water. The children help now, learning the rhythm. Youngest carries ice chunks to mother. Middle child arranges the pot. Oldest tends the fire under supervision. By 10 years old, they'll manage the fire alone. By 12, they could survive alone if needed. This isn't cruelty, it's necessity. Dinner is simple. More broth, more meat, hot tea made from willow bark, bitter but warming. They drink slowly, letting the heat spread. Outside, wind picks up. They hear it howling across the land. Inside, the dwelling is warm, secure. The walls are thick, packed earth and stone. The ancestors knew how to build. After dinner, final preparations, banking the fire, arranging it so it burns slowly, checking that all clothing is hung properly, dried and ready for tomorrow. Ensuring the water bags are full so morning starts smoothly. Every task deliberate, nothing left to chance. The family settles on sleeping platforms around the fire, covered in layers of fur and hide. They sleep close, sharing warmth. Grandmother in the warmest spot, children protected between adults. Heat pools at floor level where they rest. Koryak lies down, feels the warmth of his wife beside him, hears the breathing of his children. The fire crackles softly. Outside the cold waits, patient and eternal. But here, in this small sphere of warmth and preparation, life continues. One day, wake, fire, water, food, dress, trap, tool, teach, trade, prepare, eat, sleep. Every day for 8 months of winter, for 40 years of adult life, for 300 consecutive generations, 6,000 years of accumulated knowledge, passed parent to child with absolute precision. No stores, no rescue, no margin for error, just intimate understanding of cold, of fire, of fur, of ice. They didn't conquer winter. They learned to live inside it, to move with its rhythms, to respect its power. Today we panic if the heating breaks for an hour. They thrived where the air itself could kill in minutes, and didn't just survive. They raised families, told stories, made art, laughed, loved. They were fully human in the most inhuman environment on Earth.